What would happen if the ocean turned red? Imagine for a moment something almost fantastical. One morning, humanity wakes up and sees that the ocean is no longer blue, not turquoise, not gray, not the dark green it turns before a storm, but truly red. Dense, unsettling, as if the whole planet has suddenly sent out a warning signal. At first glance, it would look like a beautiful but disturbing special effect. But in reality, a red ocean would mean very serious changes in nature. The ocean does not appear blue by accident. Water absorbs most colors of sunlight while reflecting blue shades better than the others. If the ocean were to turn red, it would mean that either the composition of the water itself had changed, or that an enormous amount of substances or living organisms had appeared in it, altering its color. And that is where the most interesting part begins. One of the most realistic possibilities would be the massive spread of microscopic algae. Some of them really can tint the water red or reddish-brown. This phenomenon already exists in nature, although usually not on the scale of an entire ocean. It may look like a red stain on the surface, but behind that strange beauty there is often danger. Some of these organisms release toxins. As a result, fish, shellfish, seabirds, and sometimes even large marine animals begin to die if they enter affected areas or eat contaminated prey. If we imagine that not just one coastal zone, but a huge part of the world ocean turned red, the consequences would be global. Marine life would suffer first. Water is not just the space where sea creatures swim. It is their home, their source of oxygen, food, and orientation. If the composition of the water changes sharply, an entire chain of life begins to collapse. From tiny plankton to whales, some species would start dying out on a massive scale, while others might reproduce uncontrollably because their natural enemies had disappeared. The ocean would lose its balance very quickly. The second problem would be light. Red water would let sunlight pass through in a different way. And for the ocean, light is almost like electricity for a large city. Without it, algae and marine plants cannot carry out photosynthesis properly, and they produce a significant part of the oxygen on our planet. If light stopped reaching the necessary depths, underwater ecosystems would begin to suffocate. It would not happen in a single day, but by the standards of nature, the process could move very quickly. Then the problem would spread beyond the ocean itself. Humans also depend directly on the sea, even if they live far from the coast. The ocean affects weather, temperature, air humidity, and the movement of heat around the planet. If its color changes, it often means that its properties are changing as well. How it heats up, how it evaporates water, and how it interacts with the atmosphere. And that could influence rainfall, storms, droughts, and even harvests in different parts of the world. Another consequence would be a food crisis. Millions of people around the world depend on fishing. If fish begin to die off or become unsafe to eat, it would not only mean the loss of food, but also the loss of work for entire regions. Ports, markets, coastal cities, and tourist areas would feel the blow almost immediately. Imagine beaches beside a red ocean, the smell of dead fish, swimming bans, and panic in the news. The psychological effect would also be enormous. People are used to seeing the ocean as something eternal and stable. Such a dramatic change would become a symbol that something truly serious was happening to the planet. The color red itself causes alarm. It is associated with danger, blood, and emergency. So even those who did not understand the reason would instinctively feel fear. But it is important to understand this. The ocean cannot simply repaint itself for no reason. If it turned red, it would not be a miracle or a mystery. It would be a sign of a major breakdown, ecological, chemical, or biological. And the key idea is simple. The change in the ocean's color would not be the catastrophe itself, but a visible symptom of one, as if the planet had suddenly developed a fever and shown it to everyone at once. So a red ocean is not just an unusual image for animation. It is the picture of a world where natural balance has been disturbed. Beautiful from a distance, terrifying up close. And that is exactly why this idea is so striking. It shows how fragile the things we take for granted really are. As long as the ocean is blue, we hardly notice how much it does for us. But the moment we imagine it turning red, one thing becomes clear. If the ocean changes, the whole world changes with it. What do you think about this? Write your thoughts in the comments.